Hello, Facebook land. How are you? I'm Marybeth, and I'm so excited to be here again with you for Six Figure Thursdays. This is our weekly, bi-weekly talks to bring you value, support, and growth for your business to reach six figures and beyond. So I'm really excited today. I have Dawn Gaden with us. She is the CEO of Mind Body Counseling and Coaching. She's an international speaker and best-selling author. And Dawn is a powerhouse in the field of personal development. She's internationally known for igniting positive change. And her global coaching program, The Image Shift, helps professional women get unstuck from limiting beliefs so they create the reality of their dreams. She's devoted her life to studying with the best in the field of personal empowerment. She's mentored by speaking icons like Bob Proctor and Wayne Dyer. And she's spoken on stages and podcasts to over more than 10,000 people, including at Crom Castle in Northern Ireland and the U.S. Air Force Academy. Holy cow. So Dawn has over 22 years of experience as a licensed counselor, coach, registered yoga teacher, and has a unique experience and practice in changing the brain with movement to activate your energy in a practice called intenSati. So welcome, Dawn. I'm so happy to have you here with our community. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. It's so good to be here. It's my
favorite
to talk about.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I'm so excited. As part of Six Figure Thursdays, I'm trying to bring value. I'm trying to bring support to us female entrepreneurs. And I know you're a female entrepreneur, so you can totally relate to how important that is.
Absolutely. Yes. We need value. We need things that really matter to us. Yeah, I appreciate that.
Good. And so I want to talk more about how you got started. How did you begin in this field? How did you arrive at where you're at today?
Yeah, like the beginning of my counseling career.
Yes.
Yeah. So I was one of those, I guess, lucky people that I always knew I wanted to do something to help people. And so back in the day, 1989, when I was going off to college, I knew I needed a degree in psychology. Psychology it was either psychology or social work that were the two main studies. And I knew I needed to do that, get that degree in order to help people. I just knew I wanted to help people, and not just help people, but help them live their best life ever, help them love themselves and know that they have value in the world. And so that's how I started out. And it was my freshman year in college that I struggled with anxiety, panic attacks, and insomnia. And that was a kind of like a wake-up call. We all have many wake-up calls. That was my first, because I thought, well, if I'm going to help people, I need to be in a place where I can be strong and understand how to help people. And this person here that's in panic and anxiety needs to shift and be someone. I need to be someone else in order to be the successful, happy, healthy person I wanted to be. And I know where the anxiety and stress came from. School was difficult for me, and it was really challenging to pass a test and to study. So I knew where it was coming from, but I thought, well, there has to be a way. And that's what I always teach my clients. There's always a way. There's opportunity beyond the obstacle. We have to just be willing to see it. There's always a possibility. And so that's when I discovered meditation and breath work. And those were the practices that cured my panic attack and anxiety. I didn't have any more. I've had one panic attack since then. So not bad, since 1989. So I know this works. I know the practices work, that we can rewire and change the brain. And throughout my years, then in training and study, I went to yoga training. So I'm a registered yoga teacher. And I'm always looking for different practices that really help us. And so finding intenSati was so exciting because it was putting everything together. Movement, so it can be high intensity movement, high energy movement, with the mantras, with affirmations, with breath work, to create the whole entire shift. And that's what I love about it. And that's why I teach it, because it really helped me, it carried me through difficult times. And I teach it to my clients who share with me all the time how much it helps them move through difficult times. It helps them refocus when they have a project to do. It helps them alleviate stress, remove the anxiety. So that's why I continue to teach it.
That's beautiful. And so I think you and I talked about before, you have a group coaching program and you incorporate intenSati with it. Is that right?
Correct. Yeah. So intenSati at its core is a mindful movement class. And it is, if you imagine yoga, dance, martial arts all in one. And so we have the practice of meditation, breath work, movement. And so in my coaching program, each week I'll teach parts of the practice. So meditation 1 week, journaling, breath work, there's a bunch of practices that tie in. And then at the end of the month, we actually do the 1 hour practice together, which is, you get a little hot and sweaty. You don't have to. You can do low impact, low energy. It's fine. Usually when people get moving, they start to sweat because it feels good to move, which is really fun. But anybody can do the practice. I've had people in my class that come to my in-person classes. I have people in my coaching program where we do it virtual, whether they are sitting and because they can't stand for whatever reason, or they can't sit, so they stand through the practice so they don't lie down for meditation. It doesn't matter. And that's what I love about it too. It's adaptable for whatever you need and how you need it.
That's amazing. So tell me more about that mindset shift and what it can do for you.
Yeah. So shifting, we have to decide that we're willing to see something different. So oftentimes I'll have clients that say, I don't know if I can do this. Well, if we just decide I want to, I choose to, I'm going to take the 1 step at a time. I always say 1% improvement 1 day at a time. And I recently had a client say to me, I never thought that I could have lasting change. Like, I never thought I could lose this 85 pounds and keep it off. That I could look in the mirror and say, I love you. Like, you're amazing. I love you. She can look in the mirror and say that to herself. I never thought I could have a job that I truly love, and relationships that they're authentic and real and trustworthy. And so from where she came, from a place of untrust and not any self-love really, to a place of, I love my life and I get to choose how I think and feel about my life, which then creates the reality of our life. So that's the shift too that people come into, because we often think, well, this out here dictates how I feel. If I have the car and the house and the marriage and the friends and the this and the that, then I'll be happy. And we have to understand, it's so important to understand that we have to decide to feel happy and create the feeling. So a lot of the practices I teach is about how to create the feeling, because people say, well, I lost a loved one. How am I supposed to feel happy? Well, we can create the feeling within us, and we nurture it and practice it. And that creates new neural pathways in the body and the brain to start feeling in that space. It doesn't mean we don't mourn or grieve over things that happen. We move through them, but we also don't stay stuck in them and neglect the joy and happiness of what is, that experience in our life. So we can have both. It's just choosing that I know I can get there, and just 1 step at a time. And so knowing that I can see possibility, I know there's something more I can learn. That saying, I don't know what I don't know. We don't know what we don't know. It's true. So if we're willing to learn, there's so much we can do to create a shift for ourselves and really create what we truly, truly want for ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Mm. And the word that's going through my head as you're talking is empowerment.
Mm-hmm.
Empowering us to be able to tread into those unknown waters, because it's scary, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, the whole idea of we don't know what we don't know. I hear this so often from people, and I just recently heard somebody relate that to, it's a blind spot, right? And so if you were driving a car, right, you have blind spots on either side. Well, that means you need to physically turn intentionally, right? Purposefully, you need to turn and you need to look around it.
Yes.
And to be able to see what was in that blind spot.
Yes.
So that's what's coming up for me as you're talking, is that, you know, having that intention of, I want that for my life, but I don't know how to get there.
Yeah.
And trusting that, you know, slowly it can happen.
Yes.
And I really appreciated what you said about, like, we can have this and this.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be one or the other.
Right. Right.
So we can have our business, and we can have a fulfilling relationship or a fulfilling family life or self-care practice or whatever. So we can have this and this.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be one or the other.
Right. And I think we tend to put things into boxes, like I can have this or this. I can have a lot of money, or I can be happy. I can work really hard and or have the life, you know, career I love. You know, like, what about, you know, ease and the career we love? And how about having an abundance of money and be doing what we love and giving back? Like, we don't have to or this or that. And I think we've gotten into that place where I don't know where that really came from. Training, right? Society, past whatever beliefs. Wait a minute. What if we shift and say, wait a minute, what if it was another way? What if it's this? What if it's, I can have this and this? And that even opens up possibility to things we haven't even thought of before. That's what's cool too. Then we go, okay, well, if that's possible, then maybe something over here is possible. And we start to get these ideas and we get excited. And instead of fearing those blind spots, like, oh, it's too scary, I don't want to look. It's like, I'm willing to look. Like, there's possibility here. There's excitement here. There's creativity here. Like, maybe it's okay. Maybe I'm strong enough. And that's what this practice teaches. I'm strong enough. I'm confident enough to go through the unknown, to see the blind spots and go, oh, it's okay. I got this.
I love that. And so something that was coming through for me as you were saying that was, it's reminding me of my clients when I'm working with them, especially if they need to declutter and simplify their space. It can feel so daunting. It can feel so overwhelming. And the idea of creating a beautiful space out of this very chaotic space can feel like, I could never have that. I could never achieve that. And they might in their mind have that want, have that desire, but that connection between how to get from here to there, there's so much emotion, so many limiting beliefs that come through for them and being able to get there. But exactly what you're saying, once we start working on it, and once they start, you know, item by item that they're, you know, bringing out and making decisions on and letting go of and simplifying, they can start to see, oh, there's a floor there. Oh, there's a couple of walls that I could actually use for some really nice shelving, or I could put a desk over there, or, you know, so the possibilities then begin to come through as we chip away at it, as we slowly go into it. So it's the same situation in what you're saying that we can be doing in our whole lives as what we can do within our space as well.
Absolutely. And I what comes to mind is this vision I had when I was working with a client, and we were talking about like where she was now and this, like the struggle and the frustration. And she knew where she wanted to get to. Like, I can see it, Dawn. I've gotten to a place where I can see it and I know it's real and it's there. And I said, okay, well, what we're doing is we're building the bridge to get there. And so basically, what's the bridge? Like, what are the tools? Are the steps along the way on the bridge to get to where you're going? And it was like, okay, I can see that. And just like what you're saying with the clients you work with, creating this beautiful home, this space. Well, we're here, maybe surrounded by this clutter and chaos, and we can see it. We can see the clear walls in our mind. We can see the peace and the joy of having a beautiful home. So what's the bridge to get there? You know, working with you, and then the tools you give them, just like the mindset, the tools I give my clients, the mindset, the thoughts, the journaling, the breath work, like those are all the steps to get there. And knowing that it's okay we have to just take the one step at a time. And if something doesn't work, we just add a new piece to the bridge. We just add a new piece. Okay, maybe that didn't work. It doesn't mean we failed. It doesn't mean we throw in the towel. It just means, okay, we know it didn't work. Let's add in a new piece. Let's try something else. Because we're just on the path to get to where we want to go.
I love that. I like that visual of when you're saying add a new piece. I visualized on a bridge, you know, taking one plank out and putting a new one. Let's try a tile this time. Let's try, you know, something else, some other type of wood or something fresh or something, and see if that works. And it's so similar to what I do with my clients too, because when we're creating systems, especially for our home, for our workspace, for, you know, even online with our digital space for our businesses, when we're creating systems, things won't work, and that's normal. And having that flexibility, having that openness and willingness to try and experiment can bring so much fun into the practice and process, and be able to realize that, okay, not everything is going to work, and that's okay. But let's, just as you're saying, let's work around it, that blind spot or what we were trying to do, and figure out what will work. So it's a lot of trial and error, I find, with my clients that we have to go through. But when they're willing to participate in that and be an active role in that experimentation, then we can really find something that truly works for them and that makes sense for their life, for their lifestyle, and how their brain operates as well.
Yeah, and that speaks to that shift in mindset, right? Like we have to understand the stories that we come with, right? There's the stories and beliefs that we have that got us to where we are today. And so knowing that I have to shift my mindset, my thoughts, my beliefs in order to get to where I want to go. So that willingness to say, okay, I can do this, means I'm willing to shift from this belief here to a new belief. And so that's really at the heart of what I teach with my clients in coaching and in therapy, and also within intenSati, is like, it's mindset. Mindset is our thoughts. You know, our thoughts fuel our feelings, and our feelings fuel our actions. So what we think, if we think, I can't do this, we're going to be, I can't do this. Like we're immobilized by this fear of inadequacy. And then we don't take action, because we can't take action if we don't believe in what we want to do. So believing, like, I believe that I can do this, I'm strong enough, that changes everything. It changes our posture. It changes how we feel. We start to feel like, oh, confident, like it's okay, I got this. And then we can take that action. So that belief, that mindset shift has to happen first, I believe. And then there's belief in that, like, it becomes like the thoughts feed our feelings feed our thoughts. Like, it becomes a loop, because our body goes on autopilot. You know, we program ourselves so well. And so being able to understand that what we want to create on autopilot is the stuff that fuels us and creates success and happiness. So 95% of what we think, feel, and do comes from our subconscious mind, those beliefs and feelings that we don't aren't paying attention to. So we're on autopilot 95% of the time. So if we become more aware of that autopilot story, that programming, then we can change it. And that's knowing, like, if I'm stuck, if I'm holding back, if I'm stuck or afraid, okay, that probably has to do with the story, the old programming. So if I'm willing to see it and pay attention to it, be aware of it, then I can change it and create something different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's so powerful, that our subconscious, and again, that goes back to the blind spot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Our subconscious kind of is our blind spot in a lot of ways, that autopilot, that how we are behaving and not really realizing that we're doing things or why we're doing them. Mm-hmm. So I love that you're focusing on these things. I love that you're focusing on the mindset and really dialing in on how important that is for our life, for us to create the life that we truly want for ourselves.
So important. So important.
So important. It's huge. It's everything, right? And I've, if you've been following me for a while, I'm very open about, like, I have anxiety, I have depression as well. So everything that you're saying about how all of this stuff can benefit the breath work, the movement, the, intenSati, all of this stuff can influence and help us so much. And I know that for myself as well, if I have my self-care, that movement, that meditation work, that I do affirmations every morning, having those things in my life has turned my life around in ways that I never thought it would. I mean, I have a business now, and I never thought I could. I never thought that I would be able to be successful at doing this. And so I'm 100% with you that mindset is the foundation. Mm-hmm. It really is where we have to come back to in order to create true happiness, lasting change, and that life that we're dreaming of. Yeah. So tell me more about, how did you get into intenSati? How did you find it? Where did you hear about it? Because until I talked to you, this was the first time I had ever heard of it. So tell me more about that.
Yes, for sure. It needs to not be a secret, because it really changes lives. It's so impressive. So as I had said, I'm a registered yoga teacher. I went through yoga training in 2005. I think it was 2005. And again, I'm always looking for ways to take care of myself as well as teach practices to clients. And so, I have I have 4 boys. They're not as young. They're still young compared to me, but they're not babies anymore. I have a 22-year-old, a 20-year-old, and twins that are 16 and a half. They'll be 17 in December.
Wow.
So full house. And I wanted to be home with my kids when they were little. So I worked very part-time, and I would do my yoga at home. I would do videos. I would work out at home, and I would always look for something new and exciting. And so I was Googling, through different apps, different yoga practices. And I found this one woman, Patricia Moreno, who she taught like yoga dance. And I'm like, ooh, that's cool. So I bought that video, DVDs. And then yoga kickboxing. Ooh, that sounds kind of cool. Buy that one, because I add to it. And the funny thing, let me just say, the funny thing is I also chose yoga because I thought it would be a good practice to calm my mind down. And then I discovered Ashtanga, which is a fast yoga. So I'm like, oh, well, that doesn't help me. I can just pick fast yogas. But, again, being mindful and knowing I need practices that help me calm down is important. So I found Patricia Moreno, and then I was looking for more of her videos, and I couldn't find them. I thought, well, I need to search her name and find out where she is. And I found her, and she created intenSati. And I said, oh, well, that's a cool practice. So found her website, bought her video, and I would use that video at home, and I would move my body, and I would laugh, and I would cry, and I would shout these affirmations. And it was just very therapeutic. And physically, you can get fit doing it, because you move at a high energy, not high impact, but high energy movement. Mm-hmm. And it was about 2010 that I was going through cancer. and it like kind of comes and goes. It's lymphoma, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, so it goes, kind of comes and goes. And I would do my workout. I would do intenSati because it just helped me feel grounded, and it helped me stay clear because I had decisions to make about treatment and caring for myself and work and all this good stuff. And so it was 2016, October 2016. My husband says, "Why don't you get out your intenSati video? Because you need it. You need it." And I said, "Yep, you're right." Because I had another treatment decision to make at that time. And so I'm doing the practice, October 2016. I'm like, I have to teach this. I have to, if it's helping me through parenting 4 little boys as they run around my feet, and cancer, and keeping myself calm and in that state of mind, because I know if I didn't do these practices, I would still be experiencing high anxiety and insomnia. Like, I know this is my medicine. And I thought, well, if this is another like piece of the pie, I've got to be able to teach this. And so I found that she had a leader training, and the next leader training was November 2016. And I'm in Michigan. And so I said to my husband, well, there's a leader training in New York, 10 hours away, in next month, and I'm going to go. And he said, can I go with you? Because an adventure as much as I do. So we have great mothers who watch our children. And he went off and played in the city, and I went to leader training, intensive 4-day leader training to become a verified intenSati leader, so I could teach classes and run the practice. So that's how I found it, and that's why I do it, and I continue. I mean, after that, so it seems like such a short time, and it really was, but feels like filled up half my life. Was going to, after I went to training, I continued to go back to New York. Sometimes it was twice a month to assist in leader trainings, to assist in events, because it was just a community and a practice that you just keep seeing people thriving and becoming confident and loving their lives. And so it's part of my passion. It's part of what I do for mind, body, and spirit healing and renewing.
I can see you totally light up when you talk about it, and like how much that influences and fills your life and your soul. So what are your thoughts about us doing a little bit of this intenSati together today?
I say we give it a try. I would love it.
Okay, I'm nervous as hell. Just saying, just being open.
Yep. People usually, they come in and even though I do my best to describe the class, when people come in, they're in person and they're like, are we sitting? Are we standing? Are we, I'm like, all of it. And it's fun. And you follow me. That's the cool part, is call and response. You follow me, you do what I do, say what I say, and it feels good. So here's what we'll do. We'll do the warm up, which is I'll prep you for it. So it's a warm up. It's movement with breath. So it's connecting our breath with our movement, and I'll talk you through it. And we add in the affirmations. And the affirmations, I'll just say them now, so you have an idea of what's going to be coming out of my mouth. Every day, in a very true way, I co-create my reality. So I'm going to explain that a little bit so we all understand what that means. So every day, in a very true way, I co-create my reality, because intenSati is a very spiritual practice, spiritual fitness. We're not here alone. We have a spirit. We are mental, physical, spiritual, emotional beings. So we're not alone, and we tap into our higher sense, so we co-create who we are. So that's what that means. The second part of the affirmations is, as above, so is below. This is what I know. And what that means is, as above, the conscious mind, so is below, the subconscious mind. This is what I know. So we're really opening up that doorway to the subconscious mind, so we're aware of who we are and aware of our thoughts, so we can then choose consciously and intentionally who we want to be, how we want to feel, how we want to show up. So that's the begin. That's the warm up. That's what we're going to take us. That's what I'll take you through. Sound good?
Yeah, that sounds amazing. I'm just going to put, if anyone wants to join us as we're doing this, I'm going to put in the comments the StreamYard link. So you are welcome to hop into StreamYard with us and do this together. You know, no pressure. There's no judgment. We're all looking silly. Dawn's used to it. And what was I going to say? Oh, and then you can ask questions in real time and all of that stuff. So if you want to join us into on video with this practice, we are totally welcoming you to join us. And yeah. I'm going to move my chair so it's out of the way. I'm already standing, this is good. I planned this, have my desk up.
Yeah.
But
yeah, not a lot of space, you know, just a little bit of space. And I usually play music. So if it's okay, I'll play the music and let me know if you can hear me and the music at the same time.
Sure.
Just a good feel. So how does that sound? Can you hear that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So the very first thing we do is we place our feet on the ground. We're rooting our feet into the earth. And we reach our arms all the way up. Palms touch overhead. So the palms are going to press together way overhead. This is our pose of responsibility. And we silently say to ourselves, today I take full responsibility for my life, my health, my happiness is in my hands. Bring the hands to the forehead, pressing the palms together, taking in a nice deep breath. Exhale. We silently say, today I take full responsibility for the thoughts I choose to feed myself. Bring the hands to the heart, pressing those palms together, standing up nice and strong. We silently say, today I take full responsibility for my emotions. Emotions I choose to feel. Emotions I choose to feed. Extend the arms out like an arrow from the heart. And we're going to squat down like a chair pose. Tuck that tailbone in. Support your back. This is the pose of action. So we silently say, today I take full responsibility for my action. And I have action with integrity, action that aligns with my thoughts and my emotions. Feeling and just being in this pose for just a moment to feel your body, feel your breath. We're going to begin connecting the breath with the movement. You just follow along with me. You repeat after me. And let's inhale the arms. We go inhale, up, exhale, down. Inhale, up, exhale, down. So it's a bit faster than like a typical yoga. Inhale and exhale down. Inhale. And you can bend the knees when you come down. We are in that action pose. Inhale. When you go up, you reach really big and you reach the heart out. Big heart open. Exhale down. Inhale. Forehead, heart, floor. Inhale. Forehead, heart, floor. So remember, the body is the vehicle for the mind. And the body has to follow what the mind tells it. So we give it a command. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale and exhale down. Here's our affirmation. Every day, in a very true way, I co-create my reality. Now I'll say it with you. Every day, in a very true way, I co-create my reality. One more time. Every day, in a very true way, I co-create my reality. Pause here. Feel that chair pose. Feel the strength in your legs. Arms are strong. Arms are the extension of the heart. So your arms are an extension of the heart. So think about what the loving, the kind, joyful things you can do with your arms. So strong arms reaching out, extending from the heart. And now bring your arms all the way up. Palms tucked overhead as we step the feet apart. So just step the feet apart as wide as it feels good for you. Past the hips, if that feels good. So it's a big step, reaching the palms up. Palms are touched together. And it's 2 counts up. So we just clap twice up here. And then we clap twice at the bottom. So we bend the knees, knee squat, clap 2 down here. And then we do 4 singles. 4, 3, 2, 1. Go 2 up, 2 down. 4 singles. 4, 3, 2, 1. Now we're going to speed it up. Not the music, but just us. Go back there. So it looks like this. 2 up, 2 down. In 4, 3, 2, and 1. We go 2 up, 2 down. 4, 3, 2, and 1. And we say, as above, so is below. This is what I know. As above, so is below. This is what I know. As above, so is below. This is what I know. One more time. As above, so is below. This is what I know. Inhale all the way up. Palms touch. Feet come together. Press the palms. Catch your breath. And we're going to put those two together. So the two moves together. We'll go nice and slow. So bring the hands to the forehead, heart, floor. And then let's inhale up for 2. Inhale up for 2. Forehead, heart, floor. Inhale up. Exhale down. Now step the feet apart. 2 counts up. 2 down. 4 singles. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now let's add the words. Every day, in a very true way, I co-create my reality. Feet apart. And as above, so is below. This is what I know. Again, every day, in a very true way, I co-create my reality. And as above, so is below. This is what I know. One more time. Every day, smile on your face in a very true way. I co-create my reality. Feet apart. And as above, so is below. This is what I know. Inhale all the way up. Palms touch. Big breath in. Exhale. Bring the hands down through to the forehead. Eyes closed if you can. And then hands to the heart. And just feel for a minute how you feel. Your feet are rooting into the earth. Your breath is a little bit quicker now. Maybe you have a smile on your face because that felt really good and you've never done that before. And the words just ring in your heart. And you can repeat them silently right here every day in a very true way. I co-create my reality. And as above, so is below. This is what I know. And we end the class typically with, if you believe a powerful positive shift has occurred here today, we clap 3 times and we say, yes, yes, and so it is. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Yes, yes, and so it is.
So it is.
And now I'll tell you, those 2 yeses are very important in intenSati. Usually we go to things and we're shouting yes and joining in and we're excited. But with intenSati, we're really intentional with our words. So the first yes is, yes, I commit to this thing I want to do. Or yes, I choose this. Choose to feel happy. I choose to reach this goal. I choose to be kinder, whatever it is. But the second yes is the inspired action we're willing to take towards that goal. So it's one thing to commit to something and to say it. It's a second thing to actually do it. And so we really commit to taking action, inspired action in the direction we say we want to go. So that's why we do 2 yeses. So thank you for playing along with me, Marybeth.
Yes, I loved it. It was wonderful. And I feel better. I can feel my body, my breath. The affirmations are so nice as well. I feel that going through my body. I love that there's that spiritual element of it.
Yeah.
And I really liked the movement syncing with the breath as well.
Yeah. Connecting it all, really staying tuned in to it. Yeah.
Really staying tuned into it for sure.
Really, may I add something?
Yes, please.
So one thing to keep in mind, there are teachers, if you go to the intenSati, if you were to Google intenSati and want to find someone who teaches this class in person, like I'm going to go and I want to show up with people in a room, because there's something about the energy. When I would go to New York and I'm in a room full of 50 people and we're moving, the energy is powerful. When I had my classes here before COVID, I had like 30 people in class. The energy is powerful. So there's a directory of teachers, and the cool thing is no matter where you go, the beginning of every class is that breath work. And so when you walk in, you'll know it right away. There might be a different series of affirmations and moves in the class, but that breath work is taught for each of us to have that same, the consistency. No matter where anybody goes in the world, they can show up to a class and they're gonna be like, I know this part. And so you feel connected to the community.
Well, I so appreciate you sharing that with us. I know sometimes with anxiety, for me, it can be scary to try new things.
Yeah.
So having this gentle introduction for us, it feels so nice. And I like what you said, if we ever go to any other classes, this is essentially how we will start. And so that makes it a lot less scarier to go try another class. But do you offer online classes?
So I do. So I do teach in Brighton. Actually, it's Thursday nights, live in person. So if you're in Brighton, Michigan, come on in. And then Mondays at 8 a.m. in my Facebook group, we do about a half hour. So it's the warm up and then maybe some of the higher energy moves with affirmations. And the entire month, every month has a theme. And so this month is about play, giving yourself permission to play. So the moves and the affirmations are going to be tied to that theme. And then also, again, I teach in another group as a guest in another group at 8:30 on Mondays. So 8 a.m. on Mondays on Zoom. You can join me on Zoom or just watch on Facebook if you don't want to be seen. That's fine. One step at a time, right? So Mondays at 8 and then Mondays at 8:30.
Okay, wonderful. And we can watch the replay. Is that right?
Yep,
because
the replays are there. Absolutely.
8 a.m. Eastern is 5 a.m. Pacific.
I have to remember that. And to be honest with you, so I am also a meditation contributor to the app called Insight Timer. And so often, and I'm not on a regular schedule yet, which is the goal, to offer live classes on Insight Timer, because I've done that before and done the intenSati there as well. And so typically when I'm on Insight Timer, my mind really understands that this is global. And so timing it so it fits everybody is something to watch for. So if you want to also check it out on Insight Timer, you'll find me there as well.
Awesome. Would you like to share with us a link to your group so that if we want to do classes with you, then we could do them in your group?
Absolutely. So on StreamYard, or should I put it in the Facebook group? How do you want
to? If you want to share it, if you want to private chat it to me right now, I can share it into the Facebook, onto this video in Facebook.
All right. Yeah, where did it go? Here it is.
And those of you that are watching live, thank you for being with us live. Do you have any questions for Dawn? Do you have anything you want to ask? Anything about your specific life, your business that this practice might help you with, or mindset, thoughts, or questions that you might have? Any troubles or limiting beliefs that you might have that you want to ask us about? This is a wonderful time for you to be able to ask those questions.
Yes. I'm just checking here too to see if there's anything. And I'm happy to answer questions at any time as well. If anybody wants to send an email, if they want to do it privately, I love the conversation, and I think we have to start somewhere, right? And I've been in the I call it personal empowerment world for 20 some years. So once in a while I'll get a new question or a new thing, because we're unique in our own way, but we're also very similar.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of us struggle with the same things, and when we ask certain questions, somebody else, all the time, somebody else is always saying, I was thinking the same thing. Every time I go to an event or a conference, whether I'm there as a student or there as a presenter, someone asks a question and someone else says, I was thinking the same thing. So we're not alone, and our questions always help others.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I love group work for that reason. That's why, I have a group program, and bringing women together and being able to hear each other's questions, learn from each other. Some people, just like you said, some people ask questions that others might be afraid to ask, or some people ask questions that you never would even have thought of, but you will benefit from. So it really does create a whole huge other dynamic than just personal, like one-on-one work, which is also really wonderful. But when you have a group experience, it just adds that extra layer.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Dawn. This has been so wonderful. Our conversation, the practice. I feel great. If those of you that are watching live or on the replay, let us know if you watched live. Let us know if you watched if you're watching the replay in the comments, and let us know if you do the practice and the breath work, the movement, the mantras, and how you feel afterwards. Thank you so much, Dawn. Hopefully we can have you come another time and do more with us. That would be super fun.
Absolutely.
And thank you, everyone. I will be back next week with another Six Figure Thursdays. And until then, we will see you on Facebook. So have a good day.
Thank you.